Good afternoon, Senator Claxton, Representative Meyer, and members of the committee. My name is Lani Graham. I'm a family practice physician and former Chief Public Health Officer for Maine. Currently, I serve on the Public Health Committee for the Maine Medical Association, and in 2019, I represented the Maine Public Health Association, working with other stakeholders on PFAS task force. I am here representing the Maine Medical Association, neither for nor against LD 129 and for 164. As my area of expertise is health, I wanted to briefly mention that the members of the family have been associated with potentially very serious adverse health effects. I won't repeat those because Dr. Andrews just went over them. But Maine people have been confused and frightened to find their drinking water contaminated by PFAS at levels considered unacceptable in neighboring states. Clearly, due to the wide differences in state MCLs across the country, it will be better when the EPA is able to show some leadership. But meanwhile, people should not be left to think that a contamination requiring action in a neighboring state is just fine here. It makes sense to set a standard now that is at least consistent with Vermont or Massachusetts. I think it is important for the committee to remember that health research into the effects of PFAS is really still in its infancy. So talking with certainty about lifetime effects now is difficult. This means that new information will be coming out almost daily. Earlier, the committee heard about lead, which we have been studying for hundreds of years, and the acceptable limit continues to go lower and lower. It's also important to move forward rapidly to test and treat as necessary the water systems identified in LD 129 as recommended by the PFAS task force. Last, I would like to mention the compound listed in Representative Tucker's bill that was not to be considered in the Vermont standards. That would be perfluorodecanoic acid, or PFDA. I urge the inclusion of this chemical in the final list of compounds with the 20 parts per trillion MCL, as Massachusetts has done.
30 seconds, Ms. Graham.
You should know that this compound has been associated with increasing cholesterol levels and decreased antibody response to vaccines. In this time of COVID, I think it's a point that's particularly relevant. Thank you for your attention. I'd be pleased to answer any questions that you have.